Character is rarely built in the moments that look impressive. More often, it forms quietly, when no one is watching, when the easier option is right there, when your mood gives you every reason to become careless, but something steadier inside chooses otherwise. One evening, sitting in a room softened by late golden light, Kian began writing about the small choices that shape a person. And he realized that character is not built all at once. It is built every time you choose what is right before it becomes easy. Kian had been thinking lately about the kind of person he was becoming. Not the kind of person he wanted to seem like. Not the kind others assumed he was based on surface habits or polite conversations. He meant something quieter than that. The version of him formed in private, in small decisions, in moments where nobody else would know if he chose the easier path. He used to believe character was revealed mostly in dramatic situations, crises, major sacrifices, difficult public moments. But the older he became, the more he noticed that who he was being shaped elsewhere, in how he spoke when tired, in whether he followed through when no one checked, in whether he stayed honest when dishonesty would be more convenient, in the tone of his thoughts toward himself and others, in the small private moments where habit and integrity met. Character, he was beginning to understand, was being built quietly every day. That evening, the sunlight in his room had turned the desk into a warm rectangle of gold. The notebook lay open, and the room seemed unusually still, as if inviting him to say something more truthful than usual. He wrote, "What small choices are shaping me lately?" He let the answers come without filtering. The way I talk to people when I'm impatient. Whether I do what I said I would do. Whether I choose comfort over honesty. Whether I cut corners when no one will know. Whether I rest before becoming resentful. Whether I keep my room and mind in order. Whether I let moods decide too much. He looked at the list and felt the weight of it. These were not dramatic moral crossroads. They were ordinary choices. But perhaps that was exactly why they mattered so much. A life is mostly made of ordinary choices, so a character must be built there too. He turned the page. Why do small choices matter so much? Because they repeat. Because they become habits. Because habits become atmosphere. Because atmosphere becomes identity. Because I become what I practice, not just what I admire. That last line stayed with him. I become what I practice. There was no escaping the simplicity of it. He could admire patience, honesty, steadiness, courage, humility. But admiration alone would not form those things inside him. Practice would. Repetition would. The private life would. The light on the desk softened as the sun lowered further. Kian thought about how easy it is to imagine character as something fixed, something you either have or don't have. But perhaps character is more like a path worn into the soul by repeated decisions. Each time you choose honesty over convenience, a path deepens. Each time you choose restraint over impulse, another path is strengthened. Each time you choose responsibility over excuse, something sturdy is quietly formed. He wrote a new heading. What kind of character do I want to practice tonight? Steady, honest, gentle, reliable, clean in small things. He smiled faintly at that last phrase, clean in small things. It sounded modest, but it felt powerful. Not because it would impress anyone, but because it described the kind of life that can be trusted from the inside. A life with fewer hidden compromises, fewer places where the soul knows it has been careless. So he wrote 3 small choices for the evening. Put things back where they belong. Answer honestly instead of vaguely. Do the unfinished task before sleep. The list was almost embarrassingly ordinary, but that was the lesson. Character is often built in unremarkable moments, in whether you finish the thing, in whether you tell the truth cleanly, in whether you maintain small order instead of letting inner and outer mess accumulate until it becomes your normal atmosphere. That night, he followed the list. He put away what had been left scattered around the room. He sent one clear message instead of an evasive one. He finished the small task he had been postponing. None of it changed his life dramatically by bedtime, but something in him felt straighter, more aligned, less split between what he respected and how he was actually living. Over the following weeks, Kien kept returning to the notebook with the same question: what kind of character am I practicing today? That question changed the texture of his life. It made him less concerned with appearing good and more concerned with becoming trustworthy in private, less interested in dramatic self-improvement and more committed to repeated integrity, more aware that each ordinary evening offered him another chance to build a steadier self. And perhaps that is what character really is. Not a performance, not a label, but 1,000 quiet choices that slowly teach the soul how to stand. Character is built where no applause reaches, in the tone you use when tired, in the choice you make when nobody will know, in whether you follow through in small things, in whether your private life quietly agrees with what your public life suggests. A quiet room, a notebook, 3 ordinary decisions made with care. This may not look significant from the outside, but lives are not only shaped by big moments, they are shaped by repeated small ones. So do not underestimate the evening choices, the honest message, the finished task, the order restored in one small corner. That is how character grows, not loudly, but faithfully. If this spoke to you, comment, "I become what I practice." Subscribe for more warm, reflective life stories about integrity, peace, and quiet becoming.